Welcome, 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 and good night. Tonight, it's after 1 a.m. US time, New York. If you're on the East Coast, it's just after 2 p.m. in Tokyo, Japan. And we are watching together the Tokyo Grand Prix, or the Golden Grand Prix in Tokyo. And the big news is Sha'Carri Richardson will be opening her season. What do you expect from Sha'Carri Richards? She'll be opening in the 100, and that event is coming up in a short while. So we are less than 15 minutes away from seeing what Sha'Carri Richards has in store for us. This, of course, as I mentioned, will be her season opener. And the race that is on track now is the 3,000 meter steeplechase for men. And immediately after that race, we will see Sha'Carri Richards touching the track. Have quite a few events that would have been completed already. And for example, the men's 200 meters, that was the last track event we had, and Andre DeGrasse was beaten in that one, and he was beaten by Gregory. He was beaten by Robert Gregory in that men's 200. And as you are seeing on your screen there, the results from that event. And just in case you don't know what Gregory looks like, so the men's 3,000 steeplechase is on, and that's the winner. That's the winner of the men's 200. We have a lot of events that have gone already. And we will try to give you as much of these results as possible. But the The news is Sha'Carri Richardson will be opening her season. And that is something we're looking forward to. See what she has in store for us. Bahamas is doing well with Otobar in the women's javelin. She was leading at one point, maybe dropped to about third. So good going for her. Is right there on your screen. The women's 100-meter hurdles was also contested. And Marshall with 12.54 was your winner. And this women's 100-meter hurdles is such a competitive event. Is such a competitive event. And I've said this over and over, that this event, if you run this event with the same people 5 times, you'll have at least 3 winners out of that 5. That is how competitive the women's 100-meter hurdles is. And of course, today in Atlanta, 12.30 was the winning time from Kenny Harrison, or Kendra Harrison. Where can we watch? So it's on, if you're in the US, it's on Flow Track. If you are not in the US or in the US and don't want to watch it on Flow Track, you'll have to have a VPN to do so. You know, big up Joe as usual. Joe always tuning in. Thank you, Joe. So the women's 100-meter hurdles, as I said, it's the most competitive event in track and field. I kid you not, the most competitive event in track and field. The men's 400 was also another event that would have run earlier. And Holder of Australia, 44.76, was your winner. The high jump is in progress. The women's javelin may just be wrapping up. Holder right there is your winner for the men's 400 meters. And as I mentioned before, I told you, men's javelin is also going on. But the next race that will be on track is Sha'Carri Richardson. And Joe is telling us, as Onika says in her interview today, it's what you do on the day of the race. And you're so right. All in the game is always in this game. Looking forward to the Bahamian Ottobar, if that's how her name pronounced, now a pro, doing well in the women's javelin. She's doing very well indeed. You know, javelin thrower doing so well from the Bahamas must be credited. So we're a few minutes away from the women's 100 meters. And that race will have the big names in that race will be Sha'Carri and TT, her training partner, TT Terry. So those are the two big names. Who will it be? Women's 100 is coming up shortly. And of course, start list there on your screen. Sha'Carri Richardson is opening her season. What are you looking for? What time you think she will open with? The world lead is 10.92 by Tia Clayton. And it seems as if we have a winner from the women's javelin, and the Bahamian finished fourth. So the Bahamian finishes fourth. Credible performance from the Bahamian, of course. You know, Bahamas doing well in the hurdles, as I said before. Holder, the men's 400-meter runner from Australia. And that's a result on your screen from the women's javelin. And now we are getting ready for the women's 100. What time do you think Sha'Carri will run? This will be her season opener. That's what we're waiting for to see. You're looking at the start of the women's men's high jump. Results just came in. Men's 400-meter hurdles results just came in. Men's 3,000-meter results has just been shown. But what we're looking forward to most is the women's 100 meters. Shakari Richardson, T.T. Terry, and a host of Japanese athletes. Athletes are standing behind their blocks. They are being introduced. And that's your start list for the women's 100. It's coming up to Shakari Richardson now being introduced. That's T.T. Terry. We are ready for the race of the day. Women's 100 meters. This is the Golden Grand Prix Tokyo meet. Athletes are sent to their marks. Trying to get in some of the predictions in. Athletes, they're all settled now. They're on their marks. They're off and running, and they're called back. They are called back. They are called back. So Shakari is in 4, TT Terry in 5. This one is close. Looking at the replay, it's hard to say if anyone. So the official went over to Shakari, and there's a green card. It's a green card. So the officials went over to Shakari, and they would have said something to her. And then another official came across and showed a green card. So they are sent to their marks again, and they're up again. Let's see if I can look on some of these comments. Very surprised Caribbean has yet to produce an elite hip athlete, I would assume. Where is this taking place? This is taking place in Tokyo. Athletes are again sent to their marks. Women's 100 meter with Shakari Richardson, her first race of 2025. And they're off and running. And the Japanese, oh no, TT Terry, the Japanese TT Terry, Shakari, oh my, both Shakari and TT Terry were beaten. The Americans, TT Terry would have shown us that she's not in the best shape possible. They were beaten. They were beaten and beaten in a not a very nice way, if I'm allowed to say so. Shakari looked very flat. TT Terry was pumping, but on the outside in lane 6, Shakari may have been about 4th. Rizu is your winner. And you can tell 11.38 for the winning time. So you can tell that the Americans are far from being at their best. 11:38 just beat the world champion. 11:38 just got the better of the world champion. And the world champion was 4th, not even 2nd. And not looking good at all. TT Terry was pushing hard in that last 40, 50 meters. And Rizu on the outside in lane 6 just blazed past the Americans. Made it look super easy. Rizu made it look super, super easy. Waiting to get the official results, but I can tell you that Shakari Richardson don't look good at all. TT Terry don't look her best are far from looking at her best. The season is very long. A lot of the athletes will tell you that the season is very long. They have all the way until September, or for the Americans, they will have to hit top form towards the end of July when they have their trials. So this year is shaping up to be a very good one. This year is shaping up to be a year we may have a lot of surprises. 11.3 has just gotten the better of Shakari Richardson, who never, who didn't look good at all. Again, maybe she hasn't started speed work yet, but we're still waiting to see what time she did. And we still have the men's 100 to come, the final event of the meet. But we're still waiting to see Shakari's time. But your winner in 11:38 is on your screen. I wish I was able to show you this race, but because of broadcast rights and the danger in showing what we don't have rights to show is very dangerous. So at the end of the high jump, women's high jump, still waiting on the women's 100-meter result. The men's 100, they are lining up now. But men's 100 is on track. As to what time Shakari runs, we're still waiting to tell you. But I can tell you she was beaten by 11:38. So we have one event to go. It's the men's 100. None of the big names you will see. Well, I just say none of the big names, but a former world champion is in here. And Coleman will be running out of lane 5. Again, a host of Japanese. A lot of Japanese is in this one. Christian Coleman is in this one. Athletes are being sent to their marks. Will Coleman try to take this one at least to share? They're on their marks. They are now sent off and running. Coleman is off to a good start, and Austin is in on his left, and Coleman himself, the Steve looked good. He was about third. The Japanese on the inside in lane one seems to be your winner. Let's see who is giving the victory. They're all looking. I can tell you it wasn't Coleman. The winning time is 10:06, and it looks like the Japanese Yonggung. So Coleman was out well, led. Well, he didn't. He didn't lead. The Japanese in lane one led all the way. The Japanese is punching the air now in celebration. 10.06 for the Japanese, and it's a very it's a big crowd here. It's a big crowd. Well, the Japanese is your winner. Let's see if they will give us the women's 100-meter results now. We're still waiting. Still waiting to see what time Shakari Richardson, the world champion, did. Olympic medalist. Can tell you the results are coming slow. But we don't want to sign off unless we're able to share the results with you. Nothing just yet, but we're still waiting. We want to get this result before we sign off. The full results for the women's 100 and the full results for the men's 100. I can tell you Coleman seems to be about third. Shakari Richardson seems to be about fourth. What do they have in common? Golden Grand Prix 2025 in Tokyo. Beautiful stadium. The stadium that will host this year's World Athletics Championships in September. Well, I don't know if we're ever going to get the results. I think we're going to have to find some other way to get it. because they have signed off. But maybe it's time to go through some comments. But that's the stadium. Isn't it beautiful? So it's time to go through. So we didn't see the result, but now we're hearing Shakari ran 11:47, which would be beating at champs. But as I said, it's early season, very, very early. TT second place, 11:42. That's what Lin is telling us. All in the game. Japan's 4x1 looking good for Tokyo. They had a host of Japanese in that event. Joe is saying the Japanese are peaking too early. Lin is again telling us that Coleman was third in 10-11 and that Shakari was fourth in 11:47. Now we're getting an update, and this is why we really wanted to see the official results to put it on the screen, because Lin is again telling us that oh, this is Christian Miller, second in 10:08. All in the game. Only Kenny and Lindsay have looked good from that training group so far this year. Coleman, TT, Terry, Shakari from that group haven't looked good this year so far. And maybe one of the reasons for that all in the game is that Kenny is chasing big bucks at the Grand Prix. Not the Grand Prix, but at the Grand Slam or at Grand Slam track. Thank you very much, Lynn. I just would have gone through the results from Lynn. You know, only Ilian left to show what she got. Wow. At Vijay, yes, forgot about Melissa. Looks good too. A real mixed bag from that group. And again, as I said, the persons or the people or the athletes that we said are look good. Those athletes are chasing big bucks at Grand Slam track. So rumors that Elaine, the GOAT, will be making her season opener next week. Athletes can't win because they run well now, and you're peaking too early. They run slow now. It's it if you're in trouble and your season is basically over. I'm not sure I understand that comment fully all in the game. But what a Golden Gala or Golden Grand Prix it was. Shakari Richardson, TT Terry beaten in the women's 100 and beaten badly. Again, it's very early in the season and maybe because it's early. They are far from top form or they're far from being in top shape. You know, damn if you do, damn if you don't. That's it. But again, as I said, those athletes who are in Grand Slam track, they are chasing big bucks. And I would too. And running the risk of not even medaling at the World Championships. Kenny has gone $200,000 already. That's big bucks. The Santos 200,000. Sydney McLaughlin 200,000. Akira Nugent approximately $150,000. Daniel Williams one meet $100,000. This is money that they would not get even if they win double gold at the World Championships. So I don't think it's a gamble by these athletes to peak for Grand Slam track. And Grand Slam track goes up to the final week of June. The same weekend the Jamaica Trials is planned for. What will the Jamaican athletes do? Will they go to LA for for Grand Slam track or they will run at Jamaica Trials? That's going to be almost 25, 27 days before the US Trials. Grand Slam track athletes are going to have to hold their peak. Can they hold their peak? And remember, Grand Slam track, the events are almost monthly or almost every 25 to 30 days. Close to a month apart. So it means that you're going to have to hold your peak. The first one was in April in Jamaica. The second one was in May. Philly is going to be the final day of May and the first day of June. LA is going to be the last weekend of June. But they're almost a month apart. You know, Shelly ran 11:05 at Doha, and people are saying she needs to retire. My thing with that, Vijay, for track and field athletes, I don't think there should be any set time for retirement because if you're still in the game, you're still finishing second, you're still winning occasionally, you're not taking anyone's spot. This is not cricket, it's not football. If somebody want to get you out of a team, they need to beat you when the time comes. Joe is saying, I understand his comment. You win the money or you win the gold medal. I would prefer to win the money, Joe. All in the game is telling Vijay it's ridiculous. Can we wait till at least the end of June when people have a number of races under their belt till we can start assessing people properly? Yes, that's a fair statement. All in the game because the World Championship is so late. You people cannot afford to peak now. And what do? You have to peak again for for the US trials or the Jamaican trials. So maybe that's why we're not seeing the best from some of these athletes yet. Jam trials should be moved to late July, where everybody else in the world is having their trials. Stupid decision by J3s. Exactly. They seems to forget or forgot that the World Championships is all the way in September. And if you're just joining us, Shakari Richardson, TT Terry were beaten by 11.38 seconds. They were beaten. Shakari was 11.47. TT Terry was 11.42. Coleman, Christian Coleman was also beaten. And if we look back, Christian Coleman's time 10:11 and he got third. You know, they wanted VC to retire too. She was still top three in Jamaica. Why send someone slower than her? And I totally agree. If you're still in the game and you're still finishing top three, and even if you're still making the relay team, nobody can stop you from going. Nobody should have any problem with you. If the people who they want to go on the team because they said they are young, they need to beat them. They need to beat the people that the fans believe should not be there. If you're good enough to still be finishing in the top three, your age doesn't matter. And I totally agree. It's up to the other people to beat you. Yeah, and that's the same thing I'm saying. It's up to them to beat you. You know, VCB was never forced to retire. They wanted Shelley to give up her space when she was 21 years old. And Shelley said no to VCB. I'm not sure that's how it actually went. But can you imagine? Shelley was 21 at the time. And now I heard Shelley is what? 38? Is it 38 or 36? Wow, time really flies. You're talking about 2008 Olympic Games to now. So that is 17 years. Wow. Shelley ended up winning Jamaica's first Olympic 100-meter gold medal. First and second. What a thing. Shelley will be 39 in December. Well, that's all we have for tonight. It was a good night. Good night a discussion. Good night. Well, it's night for us, but it was a good day. A good meet in Tokyo, the stadium that will host the World Championship. And you see the Bahamian there on your screen. Bahamas looking good. 100-meter hurdles, the event I said, if you have the best 8 people and race them 5 times, you're going to have at least 3 winners. No one, and I said no one, I don't think anyone will be able to win more than 2 of that 5. That's Tiana Marshall, the one hurdles winner. That's your 400-meter winner, Holder. That's your javelin results. And this, of course, was TT Terry and Shakari Richardson, women's 100-meter winner. Congrats to her. Men's javelin was also on. 200-meter men's winner, Gregory 24 24, 2024, and that was the results. Andre DeGrasse, who many believe or many said was going to take over from Bolt. That's we didn't see that, but as I said, it was really nice keeping her company for this little while, and of course, we'll be back again when we have another major championships. Thank you very much for joining. Thank you very much for being involved in our discussion. Again, have a great rest of the night.